to save time and not get to turn to every verse. Genesis chapter 19. I don't know whether it was the songs that were picked this morning or whether you guys just sounded really good, but the singing sounded good today. Really good. Good stuff. Genesis 19. I'm going to read 1 through 29, so bear with me. I know it's a lot of reading. Now the two angels came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting at the gate of Sodom. And when Lot saw them, he rose to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face towards the ground, and he said, "Here now, my lords, please turn into your servant's house and spend the night, and wash your feet. Then you may rise early and go on your way." And they said, "No, but we'll spend the night in the open square." But he insisted strongly, and so they turned into him and entered his house. Then he made him a feast and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. Now before they lay down, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, both old and young, all of the people from every quarter, surrounded the house. And they called to Lot and said to him, Where are the men who came with you tonight? Bring them out to us that we may know them carnally. So Lot went out to them through the doorway, and he shut the door behind him, and he said, "Please, my brother, do not do so wickedly. See now, I have 2 daughters, who have not known a man. Please let me bring them to you, that you may do to them as you wish. Only do nothing to these men, since this is the reason that they have come under the shadow of my roof." And they said, "Stand back." And they said, This one came in to stay here, and he keeps acting as a judge. Now we'll deal worse with you than with them." So they pressed hard against the man Lot, and he came near to break down the door. But the men reached out their hands and pulled Lot into the house with them and shut the door. And they struck the men who were at the doorway of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they became weary of trying to find the door. Then the men said to Lot, "Have you anyone else here, son-in-law, your sons, your daughters, and whomever you have in the city? Take them out of this place. For we will destroy this place, because of the outcry against them has grown great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it." And so Lot went out, and he spoke to his sons-in-law, who had married his daughters, and said, "Get up, and get out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city." But to his sons-in-law, he seemed to be joking. And when the morning dawned, the angels urged Lot to hurry, saying, "Arise, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, lest you be consumed in the punishment of the city." And while he lingered, the men took hold of his hand and his wife's hand, and the hands of his 2 daughters. And the Lord being merciful to him, they brought him out and set him outside the city. So it came to pass, when they had brought them outside, that they said, "Escape for your life. Do not look behind, nor stay anywhere in the plain. Escape to the mountains, lest you be destroyed." Then Lot said to them, "Please know, my lords, indeed now your servant has found favor in your sight. You have increased your mercy, which you have shown me, by saving my life. But I cannot escape to the mountains, lest some evil overtake me and I die. See now, this city is near enough to flee to, and is a little one. Please let me escape there. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live." And he said to him, "See, I have favored you concerning this thing also, in that I will overthrow the city for which you have spoken." Will not overthrow the city for which you have spoken. Hurry, escape there, for I cannot do anything until you arrive there. Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. Now the sun had risen upon the earth when Lot entered Zoar. Then the Lord rained brimstone and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of heavens. And so he overthrew those cities, all in the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and what grew on the ground. But his wife looked back behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham went early into the morning to the place where he had stood before the Lord. Then he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the land of the plain, and he saw, and behold, the smoke of the land which went up like the smoke of a furnace. And it came to pass, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abraham, and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow. And he overthrew the cities in which Lot had dwelt. Let's pray. Our awesome and almighty God, Father, I'm just so super grateful to be together, super humbled to be before you. God, may you be pleased with what is in your sight and what you see and hear today. Give me strength to preach truth. Father God, I pray that today that we would be convicted in our hearts to live better lives, to be more dedicated. Father God, to search you out individually. Father, we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, so Genesis chapter 19. This is a story lots of people are familiar with. Lots of people have heard it probably hundreds of times or read it multiple times. Just for your information, the chapter prior was a chapter in which Abraham was negotiating with God about whether he was going to destroy the cities. And he said, well, find 50 righteous men. He said, okay, well, how about 40? Or 45, how about 40? They got down to 30, they got down to 20, they got down to 10. And the negotiation kind of stopped there. And then chapter 19 picked up. So evidently he lost the negotiation. I don't know, figure that out. But. And then you look at verses 1 through 10. And you see the two angels. They come to the city and they see old Lot sitting there at the wall. And Lot evidently knows who they are. And urges them to come stay with me. They said, nah, we're going to hang out in the square tonight. Out in the public. And he said, no. It says he strongly urged him. No, you don't want to do that. Come with me. Pleaded with them, and they did. And he comes and he prepares a meal for them, and he gets them some drinks, and he washes their feet, and he takes care of them. Well, there's a knock at the door. And here, a throng of a multitude, I think it says, of people. Some versions actually say from all four quarters of the city, or sections of the city, surrounded Lot's house. And they asked for the two men that had come there. Now, you're talking about some dark stuff. They wanted to be with them. It says King James Version, or New King James Version says they wanted to know them carnally. I don't think I have to explain that. It was evil stuff, dark, and they said, "Bring them out." And so I can see Lot squeezing out the door, shuts it behind him, and the whole crowd's there, and they're like, "Yeah, give them to us." You know, they're avid about it. And Lot's trying to talk sense into them, and he says, "Please don't act so wickedly. Please don't do this. This is the very reason they're under my roof." And as if there's probably any rational thinking going on at this point as he's trying to talk them into it. And he says, "Hey, I got 2 daughters. You can have them." They say, "We don't want your daughters." And then he kind of jumps on Lot and says, "Hey, you're a visitor anyway. You come here to live amongst us. Now you're going to pay too." So they say, "Give us the guys." And just then, the guys reach in, pull Lot inside the door and shut the door. And strike the men with blindness. It says, "Young and old, strike them." What I want you to look at is verse 11. There's a small detail there that grabbed me. It says, "And they struck the men who were at the doorway of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they became weary at trying to find the door." They were struck with blindness and they were still trying to find the door. Think about the depths of how bad they wanted it. How bad they wanted in the door. How bad they wanted the men. It says that they got weary trying to find the door, blind. That is deep. That's dark. That is a dark passion. It's a persistence. And I want to ask you, do you think Satan and wickedness is any less persistent today? Any less dark? Now, you know as well as I do that time has changed, but men haven't. And things around men, technology, and all those things change, but men are the same. And men are still wicked. Men are still very dark men. And Satan is still as persistent as ever. And you're mistaken if you think he's not pounding on the door, trying to invade your home, trying to get in. If he's not already. But unlike the men in Sodom, Satan wants your children and your grandchildren.